everybody. My name is Alexandra Gasson. Welcome to today's episode of Nerd Out, an awesome show where I get to sit around with some people that I have met and get to have these really awesome conversations. Why? Because I want to. We're going to get a little weird today. Everybody, Matt Foreman. How you doing today, Matt?
That's me.
That's you.
I am Matthew Foreman.
And Matt, what are we going to be nerding out in our harnesses today?
Well, we are going to be talking about mental health and post-con blues.
So what you're saying is we're going to get down and dirty
Yes.
about some mental health.
I did bring the bondage today.
You did. I don't know. I'm not going to give any context. This is just how it's going to be.
Just doing it live.
Yeah, just absolutely. We're going to be wearing a pride dinosaur and some bondage gear.
That's the way everyone should dress.
Absolutely. So you said we were going to nerd out about mental health and some con blues. So start us off. What are we going to be talking about?
So I think one of the things I like to focus on, especially since in the tabletop space, and this is everywhere, but really in the tabletop where we talk about it a lot, is imposter syndrome.
Yes.
That's been a huge focus of mine, something I've struggled with in my own life. Mm-hmm. And mental health struggles abound, of course, in my own life. Depression, anxiety, paranoia, imposter syndrome, you name it, Mm-hmm. And that was a really long journey for me to get to a place where I was independent and stable. And so when I started this whole streaming journey a year ago, I wanted to make sure that I was being authentic and being open. And one of the things I want to do is provide whatever lessons I've learned about mental health. I want to be sharing those. That's why my Twitter, I often tweet about resilience, imposter syndrome, mental health, and things like that.
Absolutely. And it's one of those things where even if we're not experts on it, I've been able to have the privilege to talk with Tosquall, and one of the main things that he was talking about was just that you're not alone. Yep. And that's one of the biggest things, especially in this, was that there are so many people that are finally starting to talk about what they're going through, mm-hmm. and it's getting to a point where we are able to breathe and know we're not the only ones that are going through this, and knowing that other people are is almost comforting, where it's like, it's just lets you know that it's going to be okay, or these thoughts aren't just you. Yeah. Everybody has them, and they're still being able to continue. Yeah. It kind of gives you hope.
Right, exactly. And one of the things is I have always valued, so over the year, the more successful my endeavor becomes, I still never want to stop talking about my mental health struggles. I never want to just be like, look how great my stream is, look how great my life is. I'm happy to share the happy moments, but I always want to tell people, I always want people to understand that with whatever they look at and see, I'm nobody, but some people look up to me. I'm somebody to somebody, right. And we all have our senpais, and we all have the people that we're inspired by.
Notice me though.
I mean, exactly. Mm-hmm. Even the smallest among us have the people that they look up to us.
Right.
Basically, the moment you turn on your stream, the moment you start something, you have people who look up to you. And I want to make sure people understand that what they see on screen exists in the same space as my mental health struggles.
And it's so, and as you grow, it's not even so much that, because everybody believes, especially an older generation might believe, that the way to solve this is to be successful. And then when people became successful, and a lot of actors were coming out that they were dealing with very, very deep clinical depression, everybody was looking at them and making it even worse by going, well, why?
Correct.
You're successful. You have everything you want. And people don't understand that sometimes it's not what you have. It's just the voices in your head. It's the whispers, the ones that tell you that you don't deserve it, the ones that tell you you'll never be happy, or the fact that maybe if you're so open, you have to be closed and you don't know who to trust, and it makes you feel isolated.
Correct.
But the flip side of it, especially with somebody who just remains open like that from start to finish, is that the only thing that changes is your ability to reach one more person.
Yep.
And it's not even so much where we're trying to be like, oh, we want to reach thousands and thousands of people. Yeah, that'd be great. That'd be nice. But I feel like you and I, really, when it comes down to the end of the day, is if we got one person just to breathe a little bit easier, that's it. That's all we want.
Yep. That's actually exactly right. When I first started this journey, I remember, when you start streaming, you're basically a nobody. It's brutal.
It was
just silence for months. No one,
I was lucky enough to be on variant roles.
But, right.
Like
right.
I just
with
was,
a, with a
I was
small
just
community.
there. Yeah, and I already had like 6 people, and they're like, "We love you," and I was like, "Hey!"
We over here, Dice Priority, Boo the Fool, we just did it ourselves, started from scratch, like no community, were the most brutal experience.
And now you're selling out at Comic-Cons for games.
I mean, we sell out, it's fine. Like sponsored, hashtag sponsored, it's fine.
It's fine.
But I remember early on, there were 2 things that happened. Someone said it was one of the very first people who like chat that we weren't quite sure who they were. And they're like, this show, they said they were like, this show has made me feel better about myself. Like, and they were like, this show has helped me. Like when I feel dark, when I feel alone, I turn on this show and I watch Dice Priority. I watch Ghost in the Machine. It was that, and another person was like, this show is the reason I'm back into D&D, and this show is the reason I am like going out more. That's awesome. And I was like, okay, those 2 people, that's enough. That's enough. Like the hundreds of hours of streaming, I'll keep doing it because you doubt yourself. Should I keep going? But every time I get a message like that, I'm like, it's every single moment is worth it. Every single one.
Absolutely. And it was like, I was able to have a similar experience. I got the chance to finally do up my office. And I did a mural on my wall that I am forever proud of, that has like a perfectly measured out D20 with different colors in it.
Yes.
And then I hand taped everything, all these triangles out, and it's like, and it was one of the things I was able to start from like start to finish, and I put it out there and it went ballistic. Like just people were sharing it. I was like, huh, and I was a little overwhelmed by it. But there was one person who reached out to me and started following me and reached out to me and said, what colors should you use? I really want to do that with my space. And like a month ago sent me a picture of his wall that he had taken those triangles and those colors and had done it. And he says, thanks for the inspiration. And I, for the whole day, was just like blue screened. Like this, there's no way. Yeah. There's no way that nobody had, even the slightest ability to tell, for that person to have inspiration to do something creative.
Yeah.
And it's not even about the attention that we have on us. It's just, we want to be able to put the spotlight on the people who need us.
Absolutely.
And, but when you're talking about imposter syndrome, you're talking about the mental health, talk to me more about that.
So my insight on imposter syndrome, I don't think this works for everyone. But, and this is it's difficult for me to explain, but it is what worked for me.
Okay.
And I used to feel very much like an imposter. To give you a little background, I used to be like an all-star academic, a paid researcher. I graduated magna cum laude, that kind of stuff, you know what I mean? I had a fabulous, relationship. I lived in a big house and all those things. And I had never felt more alone. I had never felt more like a fake. And I never had felt just more sad. And I walked away from that whole life a few years ago and began a journey of just like, who is this? Yeah. And what the heck am I doing? Because I'm not happy. And I feel like a fake and I feel like a fraud. And what did it for me, among lots of other tricks and tools, meditation, resilience, just taking 10 minutes a day by yourself and being, other than all those little tips and tricks and tools, well, the thing that let go of me is I let go of the belief that I was special. And when people hear that, I think it can sound negative in our culture, but allow me to like kind of highlight, like I let go of the belief that I was unique, special, and that in my core of being that I was something like bright and that could shine.
Okay.
And instead what I did is I started thinking of my actions as being unique and the choices that I made having impact and the ability, and I started trying to believe in my own ability to make choices and control my life.
Yeah.
With the understanding I'm going to add, because I know that that kind of dialogue almost sounds like crazy libertarian nonsense.
No, it doesn't. No, I totally get it.
Because with also the dialogue and the understanding of knowing that other people's choices, especially people in power, have an impact on my life.
Yeah, it's like I feel like I get what you're saying, because it's not so much we're going out into the world and we're thinking that we personally are special and unique, and feel as though we should be having certain things.
Yes.
It's that it's not so much that we as people are special, it's what we do with our time that is.
Correct.
And that's what's unique. It's our interactions that make us unique.
Correct.
And that is actually like really profound. And I'm a little, like, I almost need a minute, because that makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
It does, because it's one of those things where I really strive to try and build those interactions with people, and that's what's important to me. Yeah. And that's why I struggled so many times with defining what I was and who I was by my job.
Yeah.
And
your status.
And so I was like, well, I'm just this.
Yeah.
But it wasn't, and it was difficult for me to marry that belief and the very real, tangible, physical effect that I was having on the people around me.
Correct.
And it took a lot. It took my husband drawing attention to, like, babe, hey, these people remember you after years of you working there. Yeah. You were, you were important to them, and even then, like, I feel a little bit like I'm undeserving. Like that's. I was like, well, what do you mean? That's just what I do.
Right.
And so it's no longer I'm just a waiter. No, it was, I get to interact with hundreds of people a day. Yeah. And if one of those people goes home happy, or they go home like laughing, like, dude, this waitress today was singing like "Baby Got Back" the entire time because her husband got it stuck in her head or something. Yeah. But that's so crazy. I love that.
It's what worked for me, because it moved the conversation in my head from being, you're a brilliant intellectual, you are a special researcher, you are these things, to, I shifted that conversation to, you did this thing, you researched something, you wrote this thing. Yeah. And it's
your accomplishment.
Yeah, and it's about your actions. And for me, it was like, it lifted a weight, because I no longer had to be anything. Mm-hmm. I only had to do things. And I really do feel that one of the core difficulties of imposter syndrome is people fall into the trap of believing that they can, like, exist a certain way beyond just being human. And we're all just human, making our own choices. And this is like basic existential philosophy 101. Right. But it really, really helped me shift my thinking, because it's like, and I'll tie this into D&D a little bit, and this has helped me with my streaming journey. You're a great storyteller. I've heard that since I was 14. I started DMing 17 years ago, and I never looked back. And years later, people be like, you're the greatest DM we've ever had. You're a great storyteller. And I take those compliments at their word, and I am so thankful when people give me compliments. But I can't believe that. I can't believe that I'm a great storyteller, because then I have something to live up to. I have something that I can, there's a suit I can step into. I'm just me. I'm just Matthew Foreman. It's me. And that's kind of why I say that, to be honest, is like, it's just like, hey, it's just me. It's not, it's not.
Sponsored DM badge.
Yeah, it's not any, as much as I like to joke around, it's not any of those things. It's not, I'm the president of Dice Priori, and it's not, all these things. Hey, it's me. It's just me. And instead of thinking of myself as like, I'm a great storyteller, what I think is, I made my players smile. Yeah. Everyone walked away really excited.
I was able to help create a world.
Correct. I felt good about the way I described that scene. I picked the right song there. And I understand that I told a great story. But that's not something I carry in my soul. Right. It's something I do and choose to do, and I actively have to create consciously.
And I understand that, because when someone comes up to you and they're like, you're a great storyteller, then you suddenly feel as though if you're not writing a story, you're failing at being a storyteller.
And you're an imposter.
Exactly.
Yep.
Listen, you've heard it here first. We've cracked the code.
It's what worked for me. I hope it works for other people, but
yeah.
Because it really is like that. You're like, well,
it's taking a little bit of the pressure off. Just a little bit.
Yeah. It's like, no, I'm not a great storyteller. I'm not like in my state of being in my metaphysical construct. I'm not just like, I don't just have stories running through my veins that shoot off. I told a great story and you watched it, and I honor that commitment. I honor that moment in that community. But it's not in my soul. Yeah. I'm just me making choices.
But stories are important to us as well.
And they are. They're so powerful.
Because you learn so much from the stories that you ingest. You learn a lot about yourself, a lot about, that was one of the main things about Dungeons and Dragons that struck me to my core, was that suddenly I was creating these characters, and I was embodying these characters, and I was finding out through these characters that I didn't think had anything to do with me, things about myself. Yeah. And in a way, they were teaching me courage. They were teaching me kindness. They were teaching me boldness. And it's such a wonderful community, which is why coming to a place like this coming to Gen Con can be just so amazing to be around those people that you've played with, that those characters interacted with. I've been on cloud 9 being around my first Twitch streaming crew.
Yeah.
Twitch streaming crew. And these people that just I was so blessed to have as my group for the Dragon Heist. Out of nowhere, we just all clicked. Like, just never met each other. And then we were known as the Fields crew because we just loved each other so much. And seeing them here, like, I think we're going to start moving into the Dragon Con Blues, or not the Dragon Con Blues, but the Comic Con Blues, because at some point we're going to have to leave. Yeah. And that's tough.
And it's a long way down from Cloud 9.
It is. Like, you're here, you don't have to worry about work, you don't have to worry about school.
People get you everywhere you turn.
Yes.
You don't have to over-explain what you're interested in and passionate about.
No, you're with your people.
Yeah.
And you're with in places like this is my first time coming here. I was meeting people that I've only seen through a screen for the first time, and being able to tangibly, like, reach across and, like, touch and converse, and not have to worry about the lag or somebody losing, connection.
Or an arm.
Or an arm?
I lost one in my character.
Oh, no.
Or crashing an elevator.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, that was how you and I met, was the first, my first ever time on Variant Roles, Blades in the Dark. And I was like, what an amazing group of people.
Yep, and I'm just
I never look back.
Crazy person that comes in with a fake bruise on her face and a horrible Scottish accent.
Yes.
Going, I'm going to beat everybody up. It's so great.
It was the best.
Was that the one that we were smuggling?
Arcane Beagles.
Arcane Beagles.
And we got them out, I think, but Nox stole one.
Nox stole one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We crashed the elevator like idiots.
Yeah.
I did.
I mean.
Not Ghostface just stood there.
So what are some things that you do to help kind of combat those? Like, what, do you have anything, or is it just acknowledging its presence?
That's step one. Knowing, expecting it, knowing, getting ready for it.
And not in a nihilistic, like, everything's going to go to shit. Just expect the worst.
Witness the void and surrender unto the void.
No, that's Emma.
Yeah, and me a little bit. I would say, God, I think, honestly, this is going to be my first time. Last time at Gen Con, I fell into a little depression, but nothing like this. Mm-hmm. It was years ago at DreamHack Austin. I actually fell into a depression after a con. This was my Heroes of the Storm days.
Oh no.
Yeah, and I fell into depression. I didn't have the tools I had back then. So I'm definitely going to be spending time with my dog. I'm definitely going to be reaching out to my friends, telling them I miss them. I'm definitely going to be having longer conversations with coworkers, and I'm going to be taking 10 minutes a day to let my thoughts come at me and just let them exist, not try to figure anything out. No matter how horrific and shocking those thoughts are, they're not going to control me. I'm going to let them fly, and they're going to hurt my little heart, which I've literally had heart surgery on, and it's going to go, and then I'm not figuring this out, I'm just letting it fly. And that is a resilience technique. And so there's some of the things I'm going to do. Going to just kind of keep on going.
And it could be even a thing that's just saying it's okay.
Yeah.
Hey,
it's part
listen,
of the journey.
You had so much fun. It was awesome. Or almost even coming at it from like a trying to trick yourself standpoint, where it's so bittersweet when it ends, which makes it so much better when it comes back.
Yeah.
And it's because it's letting you feel that. It's not I'm just going to pay for myself distraction. It's like telling your friends about it. It's like you're going home and you do have friends that aren't in the community that still listen to us.
Yeah. It's
crazy, but we have them. And just saying, these are some pictures, and it's allowing yourself to relive it and gearing up for the next one, but just acknowledging and being thankful for the time that you had. I think is my harness is itchy.
Oh no! I've gotten this a couple times. I go to introduce myself. I know who you are. That will never start being normal.
I have not gotten that at all.
And then someone goes, "Are you Matthew?" I'm like, "Yes." I'm like turning. They're like, I watch your show." I'm like, "Hi, hi." So I have to now then So I will now move away from that reality come Sunday, and I will go to work. They're like, hey, you got that thing I asked for 20 minutes ago?
I just would go. I'd just be like,
Don't you know?
don't you know I'm famous?
Don't you know who I am?
Do you know who I am? You should be asking for my picture right now. I love that I have hair now that I can do that.
Yeah, I don't, and I forgot my wig, so here we are.
Oh,
That's all right. That's my life. So yeah, I also had another thought that's like, you're feeling this way, and it's okay to feel this way because you were in a great space.
yeah.
You were on cloud nine, and none of that is fake. It's all very real, and you felt very real thing. But you can't exist. You can't cloud nine. You can only rent. You can't.
Yeah.
You can't buy.
You can't live there.
No.
Because at some point,
You need the evens and the lows
Yeah.
for the highs. It's just the way it is. And just knowing that this is part of the journey and process, that's actually another, I just want to touch on really quick, is time. Knowing that you won't always feel a certain way. I know that I won't always be on cloud nine. And honestly, I've loved being here and I will adjust, but it's not like last time. It's not as euphoric. It's more grounded this time. I instead look at it as part of my journey. I instead look at it as a long line of choices that got me here. I instead appreciate the fact that I saved during the year to do that and
Right.
worked. And I know that it's friendships that will continue on.
yeah.
And so I hope, and I know I'll still have a little depression, a little post-con blues. It's gonna come. It's gonna come.
Gonna go.
But I won't always feel like that because I'll get back to streaming, and then I'll see this episode air, and that'll be wild. And it's all time. It's time. It's a journey. You won't always feel this way.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I think that's probably going to be a good place to stop on because that
Perfect.
I like how that's tied up because really what it comes down to is that enjoy the time you had,
Yeah.
love it,
Yeah.
and
Be present.
yeah, and just like I said, I'm just so thankful for the time that I've had, and I look for the next one. But I know that school is bearing down its ugly teeth at me, and I can't do anything when that happens.
Yeah.
But thank you so much for coming. I really love this.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. And thank you guys for tuning in today. As Matt said, you're not alone. Enjoy and let's feel. I'll see you guys later. Thank you so much for tuning in. I just wanted to follow up by saying no matter where you are in your own mental health journey, just know you aren't alone and there is nothing wrong with seeking help from a professional. Be kind to yourself. I love you all. You can find Matt over on Dice Prory alongside some awesome people. Be sure to check out their channel for some amazing content. Also, don't forget to follow at Variant Roles and myself at Crit Charisma on Twitter for updates and sneak peeks of coming episodes. And join us next week, October 29th, as we get down and spooky about the Australian horror film genre with Alex Catu at 7 p.m. Eastern here on the Variant Roles channel. And finally, don't go too far as a Velvet Soiree begins at 8 p.m. See you next week.